With Halo Infinite's full release being just days away, and the temporary shutdown of the Halo subreddit due to toxicity and just plain nonsense posting over the weekend, I think there are some things that need to be talked about as a community if we want to see Halo Infinite become the game we all want it to going forward. First, I know 343 had 6 years to get everything correct and fine-tuned for the release of Infinite. And at first, everything seemed great until everyone played for about a week or so and noticed all of the blatant and glaring flaws within the early multiplayer release. You would think 6 years of listening to the community and taking feedback would result in the most beautifully constructed Halo masterpiece, right? But alas, it was wishful thinking in the end. Is Infinite in its current state a masterpiece? Absolutely not. Is it as abysmal as Halo 5? Also no. Infinite is currently in sort of a limbo-esque sort of state, if you will, and it can go either way. But in a way, this all comes down to us as a community to help better and improve this sequel that we've been all waiting years for. Don't get me wrong, I think the way 343 released this game as it stands, and after having years in development, is utterly ridiculous and is clearly a cash grab as people get interested in a free-to-play game and then spend real-world money on in-game microtransactions. More on that later, though. But guys, if we as a community keep trashing 343 and posting apparent death threats and vulgar comments because we're unhappy with the state of the game, then why the hell would any development team want to even put the work, time, and effort in to make it better? At least 343 has been very open and vocal about what's going on in the game and giving us weekly updates, unlike a certain game, Call of Duty Vanguard. Everything isn't perfect, far from it actually, but at least 343 is trying to make an attempt to correct everything. So quit shaking with rage and foaming at the mouth so much that you feel the need to comment death threats on a subreddit. With all that being said, let's not forget the real issues I think we can all agree on, and let's stay more grounded this time around. First, microtransactions, without even fully getting into it, we all can agree is horrific. The fact that armor customization is locked behind a very, very slow XP grind or microtransactions. 2, a tiny bit of weapon balancing. Seems for me anyway, gravity hammer, the Ravager, shock rifle, pulse carbine, and the commando just need some kind of tweaking here or there. Gravity hammer seems to be totally inconsistent. I seem to get killed by it with an infinite range, but when I'm point blank next to somebody, sometimes 2 hits will kill them or entirely not at all. The Ravager, I don't even know how to use that weapon. I've tried it. I've looked up videos, tutorials, you name it. I can't figure it out. Kind of just given up on it. Shock rifle should be the equivalent to the sniper rifle, but it's just too inconsistent. Sometimes I'll get one-hit headshots, and other times I'll feel like I get a headshot, and it will still take 2 or 3. Commando, it's just too inaccurate and horrible recoil, and I get you have to pepper it a little bit, but still, it just feels weird to use, as horrible as it sounds. the Pulse Carbine is just terrible all around. Like the Ravager, I've tried to use it, cannot figure out how to play with it, what playstyle is needed, what's the best. Anyone knows, leave a comment. Would love to see if I could use it. Number 3, the overall battle pass progression. Like I stated earlier, it's just a very, very slow XP grind. At least in the past week or so, they updated it to where you get a XP boost for the first 7 games of each day that you play. After the 7th game, so going into the 8th, it then drops back down to 50 XP per game. But still, it still takes a god-awful amount of time that, for instance, I was playing with a few of my friends for, I think, 4 or 5 hours. And in that time span, I only leveled up once. And at the time, I was level 17. So even then, it still takes way too long to complete the challenges. Even if you aren't going for them, that's the only way you can rank up. And once you've completed all the weekly challenges, you have to wait for them to drop more, which at that point you can't rank up any further. Number 4, adding more game modes, currently only being ranked, big team battle, and quick play. And you don't even have the choice to play what objectives or what game mode you want to play. And I know they've came out and said that they're releasing Team Slayer and SWAT and a few other game modes, but those should have been available at launch. But they're not coming until after the holidays, which still is just abysmal, the fact that they didn't add more game modes. Number 5, more maps. Overall, if you're playing big team battle, you only have 3. If you're playing ranked or quick play, you have 10. But they get really old really, really fast. Would love to see more maps, and I get they'll release more as the game furthers its lifespan, but still releasing only 3 big team battle maps is just not enough. People are going to get bored with it very, very quickly, and that's apparent from the community right now, and it's kind of outrage that it's not being updated fast enough to their liking, to our liking. And lastly, I would love to see some kind of integration of how Halo 3, the Spartan / profile cards, whatever you want to call it, going back to seeing people's customized Spartans within a pre-game lobby or post-game lobby, but because there is no pre or post-game lobbies, you aren't able to see that, which is kind of disappointing. Would love to see people's variations of their custom Spartans and the different camos and the armors they've unlocked and or bought in, unfortunately. Or the medals. I would love to see how many medals not only my teammates have gotten or people I'm playing against, but how many I've gotten. And the fact that there's no medal tracker is just, it's sad. I would love to be able to see that and see how I'm doing in all my games. But with all that being said, release of Halo Infinite is days away. These are the things that, in my opinion, and it seems that most of the community's opinion, need to be adjusted or completely overhauled.